Hi, Molly. Welcome to the NTM Growth Marketing Podcast. I'm excited to be speaking with you today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm excited to chat all things marketing.
And you are our first ever guest from South Dakota.
Oh, I'm
Fun fact.
not surprised. We have our company puts on like a summit every year, and everyone is always like South Dakota. But if you've heard of Mount Rushmore, I'm right about 20 minutes away from there. So it's a really beautiful place, and it's not common to find tech startups here, but this is where we've chosen to lay our roots down, and yeah, we love the community. So.
I was going to ask if it's a unknown up and coming tech community on the US that might be a little bit on the down low at the moment.
Yeah, so we internally at least, I don't think this term is coined anywhere. We like to call ourselves the Silicon Prairie,
Nice.
instead of the Silicon Valley. So there's a few tech startups in Rapid City. We have the School of Mines and Technology here, and they have a really great incubator program for starting new tech companies. And so that's actually how Property Meld got started in Rapid City.
With that being said, that's a great transition. Tell us a little bit more about your organization. What is
Yeah.
your role at the company?
For sure. So I am the marketing coordinator here at Property Meld. I've been with the company for a little over 2 years. And what Property Meld does is we are a maintenance platform that actually helps kind of streamline. I don't know if you've ever rented before or know people that do, but the process of submitting a maintenance request and actually getting someone out to your home or your apartment to fix it can be really stressful. And a lot of times that's the reason people choose to rent is so that they don't have to deal with it. But if you have, a convoluted process, or I don't know if anyone's ever had like maintenance guy just show up at their house, hey, I'm here to fix this, and you had no idea. So that's really what our software was designed to help solve. So we work with property management companies all across the United States, and a few in Canada, just really, again, helping kind of bridge the gap between your residents, technicians, vendors, owners, all of that. So,
What does the day in the life of Molly look like?
it's very busy. Again, as I mentioned, we are a newer startup company, so we run a pretty lean marketing team
Mhm.
here at Meld. But I personally am in charge mostly. I say mostly because, as most marketers know, we wear a lot of hats. But I'm in charge of our inbound lead generation. So our website traffic, writing sales emails, running ad campaigns, getting people to know what Property Mail does, and then reach out to us if they want to learn more through a demo of our software. Like I mentioned too, we also do our big summit every year. So that involves, of course, some event marketing, getting tickets sold, lining
That's
up.
in person
Yeah,
in
yeah,
South Dakota.
yeah, in South
Very
Dakota.
cool. Okay.
So we bring about last year, I think we had almost 400 people come to
That's
Rapid City.
fantastic.
Yeah, come to Rapid City, South Dakota, for a 3-day summit. So a lot of like the planning of, of course, the logistics, but then we have an amazing graphic designer in-house who does all of our kind of swag and signage for that. So getting that all squared away. And then I also help on the customer side too. So we um, deal a lot with, of course, customer retention and how can we show our customers the value in Property Meld, continuing to make sure that they're, getting help when they need it and seeing value in the product. So I do a lot of customer marketing as well, keeping our customers up to date on new innovations, upcoming events, webinars that we might be hosting. So.
Did you ever do this virtual for your summit? And the reason I ask is that I've just seen Zoom fatigue from COVID still at
Hmm.
play over the last
Hmm.
couple of years. And the shift back to more in-person experiences is where I've seen a lot of organizations start to redirect their efforts.
Yeah, so we actually, like I said, I've only been here for about just over 2 years. So this will be my third summit that I've had the pleasure of being a part of. It used to be just for our customers. So
Mhm.
it was very small when it first started out, maybe 25 customers would come, and then it slowly got bigger and bigger, and we opened it
25 to
up.
400 is very impressive.
Yeah, we opened it up to the whole industry. So you don't have to be a Property Meld user to come. But I don't know if they ever had it fully on Zoom. I think in the COVID year, I think they just didn't have it because they'd only had one or two prior
Got
to
it.
that. And then when things got, a little more normal, we kind of revamped it and made it
Got
bigger.
it.
So, and people always ask us why we don't have it in a place like Palm Springs or Orlando, Florida, but we really want to showcase that, South Dakota and other areas in the Midwest can
Mhm.
produce a lot of amazing, talented marketers, salespeople,
Right.
software developers. And so that's why we try to, as long as we can have the infrastructure to support it, we hope to stay in Rapid City for our summit.
It's unique. Not all
Yeah.
tech conferences have to be in Vegas.
Exactly, exactly. And we go to
Uh,
our fair share of them there as well. So we get to experience the warmth and the sunshine. But here in September, it's usually pretty nice. No blizzards yet.
so with all these inbound strategies you're working on, can you share any type of inbound strategy you're seeing some good success with recently?
Yeah, absolutely. So, typically with SaaS sales, it can be um, the market plays a big role into, if people are ready to buy. So that's something that we definitely have to kind of combat. So we typically see, just like everything, slower months, busier months. But one thing that we have been working on lately that's been proving to be really successful is implementing. I don't know if you've read Building a Story Brand, the
Is
book.
that Donald Miller?
I don't want to say
Different,
yes
wrong Arthur.
because
Okay.
I'm just not sure off the top of my head and I don't want to get it wrong. But it's called Building a Story Brand. And what it does is it kind of breaks down 7 different steps that all marketing content
Mm,
should include. So you need to, and it really, what it centers around is making your prospect the hero. So
mm,
instead of having your company be the hero, making sure that prospect feels like a hero and helping them understand their internal problems, their external problems, and then offering your, whatever service you're offering as the solution. And that's something that I have been utilizing a lot in all of our content, from email marketing to our ad
mm,
campaigns to our social media posts. But where we've really seen the biggest impact is on our emails. So we see a lot more people clicking, opening, booking a
mhm.
demo since we've kind of implemented that content into our strategy or that content, philosophy, I should say.
In terms of innovation, if you were to have a humble brag on yourself, what do you think from an innovation standpoint you bring to marketing? You or your company as a whole, what's something innovative that would be top of mind for you?
Let's see. One of the things that we've also started implementing recently is a pretty in-depth lead scoring system inside of our CRM. And so, for example, there's different activities that we include that give prospects points.
Mhm,
So, for example, opening a marketing email, clicking on an email is worth more points than just opening, right? Because we know that that's a higher intent action. Registering for a webinar, attending a webinar, visiting specific pages on our website that, again, show that higher intent, things like our
mhm,
pricing page, our demo page. And then what we do with that is we kind of segment them out into different lists.
mhm,
And so not only do they receive different content based on those levels of intent, that's more, our less engaged prospects might receive more kind of thought leadership content, kind of
mhm,
warming them up to who we are, what we do. Whereas those people that are showing higher intent might receive more kind of sales heavy. Okay, let's book a demo now. And then we've also helped implement that into our outbound sales strategy as well. So we have a team of business development representatives that are calling
mhm,
property management companies. So we kind of use that list to be like, hey, you know, here's a list of really hot leads that are engaging in our marketing material. Go and give them a call first. And that's really helped both our inbound sales and our outbound sales teams generate more lead
mhm.
gen and higher
What
quality leads.
what CRM are you using?
We use HubSpot.
Nice. I've been hearing a lot about the AI integration within
Yeah.
HubSpot.
Mhm.
Have you experimented with that at all?
I have a little bit, to be fully transparent. I love HubSpot, but I guess didn't totally think it was anything that much more amazing or easier to use than like a chat GPT. What is cool about it is like you could write, let's say, an email inside of HubSpot and then have it generate, I want a LinkedIn post and I want a Facebook campaign and I want a
Got it.
LinkedIn ad based on this email, and it'll spit that out to you. And I think it does a great job, but personally, I guess I just tend to use something like Chat GPT a little bit more frequently just because I already knew how to use it and didn't want to learn another
I
tool.
got it. How has AI impacted your role as a marketer?
Yeah, I think from a a time standpoint, it has been super helpful. And of course, when things like ChatGPT came out, I'm like, oh my gosh, my whole job is to write content. If someone can, if this robot can write content about property meld, am I gonna
It
have a
gave the
job?
marketing
Um,
world just a huge oh crap moment. I've talked
it
to so
did,
many
it
marketers
did.
who are like, am I just going to be out of a job in 30 days now?
Yeah, yeah. So I think I was kind of like putting my foot in the sand, like I don't need it. I'm not going to use it. I'm going to
You're
rely on
smarter
my
than the
own.
robot, like Dwight. I know we had the
Exactly,
office reference
exactly.
earlier.
Yes. But what I found it super beneficial for is just again like the time commitment. If I've already written a long form piece of content for, let's say, a blog article, just having it kind of cut that down for me into a
Mhm.
post for Facebook, LinkedIn, X. Like I said, we run a really lean team here. It's not like we have a dedicated email marketer, a social media manager, an SEO specialist. That's all me. So
Right.
it is nice to have that tooling available. And like I mentioned before, how we've really been relying on the 7-step story
Mhm.
brand formula. What I like to do is put my something that I've written into Chat GPT, and then I'll actually ask it, can you review this through the lens of the 7-step story brand formula and let me know areas where I need to improve. And it'll say, oh, you didn't do a great job outlining the internal problem, or you didn't do a great job relating to the prospect's pain. And then that helps me kind of make tweaks. So I really love it from almost like a copywriting standpoint. Kind of gives you another eye on something and gives you suggestions, you might not have thought about. So,
So my last question today is around AI tools. I think it's clear ChatGPT is your favorite LLM.
yeah.
Are there any standalone softwares as well that are using AI that you tend to use a lot? For instance, I love Video Tap and Office
hmm
Clips for video content. Any
hmm
standalone software that you've been using a lot?
So one that I was using, they actually recently have gone through some organizational changes and were, going to close, and then they were bought. So now they're not closing. It's called Demand Jump. And what it is, it's similar to kind of like a SEMrush, if you've ever heard of that. But it's really focused on pillar-based marketing content. And the kind of idea behind pillar-based marketing is that you have this long form piece of pillar content that you want to
Mhm.
rank for on organic search results. And then you have all of these supporting blogs that link up to this main pillar strategy, and it really helps boost your organic rankings. So it's a really interesting philosophy. There's a book, his name is Ryan Brock. He kind of coined the pillar-based marketing strategy and wrote a book about it. And it's a really interesting concept. But what Demand Jump does is it kind of helps recommend those pillars to you. And again, a lean team. So when I first started using Demand Jump, really to see the best results, you may end up creating 10 to 15 pieces of content for that one pillar strategy. So it's a lot of writing. And what's really helpful about Demand Jump is they will actually use AI to provide you content briefs, and they have like kind of a personalized, I sent them, white papers, case studies, content from our website to kind of give them our brand voice. And then it actually built a personalized kind of AI tool that has helped me with my writing. And then we're actually building a lot of AI tooling inside our own software, which is very cool as well. Not that it's marketing related, but it's kind of cool to see that it's, so widespread across so many different industries right now.
Are you building that or your dev teams
Yeah,
building
not
that?
me personally. Our dev team is building that.
Okay.
I wouldn't know the first thing about it, but they've been doing some really cool things with like different translations
Mhm.
and AI assistants to kind of help residents troubleshoot their maintenance issues and kind of walk them through, oh,
An
is
AI
it?
chatbot?
Yeah,
Nice.
his name is Max.
Max, okay.
Yep, yep.
Uh, well, to wrap us up, Molly, if someone wants to get in contact with Max, they want to learn more about your organization, get in contact with you, can you share any links, social media handles to follow
Yeah,
up with?
for sure. So all of our social media handles are just at Property Meld. And again, I manage all of our social media accounts. So if you want to get a hold of me specifically, reach out on any of those. My email, it's really easy. It's just molly@propertymeld.com. And then my LinkedIn is just Molly Sperlich Best. So if you want to get a hold of me, I just want to say that that's not me bragging. That's my husband's name. And I hyphenated when we got married, but sometimes when I say that, I want to make sure people don't think that I, have a huge ego. But yes, that's how you can get a hold of me.
Perfect, Molly. Thank you for your time today.
Yeah, thank you.
Before we jump into our next guest, we want to take a moment to tell you about our marketing mastermind cohort, No Typical Marketers. If you are a marketing executive looking to connect with like-minded professionals, this is the space for you. It's more than just a Discord group. It's your exclusive ticket to monthly roundtable meetings where we have group discussions about advanced marketing strategies, share insights, and solve real world challenges like implementing AI agents into your marketing. Membership is exclusive and by application only. If you're ready to take your marketing game to the next level, apply now using the link in the description below. We can't wait to see you there. Now, back to the episode.
Hi, Bryan. Welcome to the NTM Growth Marketing Podcast. I'm excited to be speaking with you today.
Hi there. Thank you so much for having me on today. I'm also excited to share some marketing insights.
Bryan, I think this is one of your first podcast interviews, correct?
This is. I just recently completed my first in-person panel at a recent event, so now I'm tackling
Congrats.
my first podcast opportunity. Thank you.
Congrats. And let's kick this off and hear a little bit more about your company. What is your role at the organization?
Absolutely. So I'm the marketing manager at Horizon Labs. I've been here for about 3 years now. And at Horizon Labs, we're a blockchain technology provider, and we work on two specific products, I'll say. One is Horizon, which is a privacy-focused project that's been around since 2017. The other is ZK Verify, which is a modular proof verification blockchain that's been on testnet for about the last year or so, both focused in the Web3 blockchain and crypto space.
Have you always worked in Web3 and crypto throughout your career?
For the majority of my career, I have. Before I dove down the rabbit hole of crypto and blockchain, I was working at a technology company that was providing point of sale solutions, also leading the marketing efforts
Mhm.
there.
What inspired you to dive into crypto and blockchain?
Yeah, so for me, I was kind of personally interested in the space for a while before I kind of dove in and started working in it professionally. For me, I've always enjoyed the kind of decentralization piece of the
Mhm.
industry and kind of bring a little bit more of the power and freedom back to people versus, various governments. And for me, I think the opportunities that cryptocurrency and blockchain technology provide, across borders across the globe, kind of accessibility,
Mhm.
privacy to end users, and keeping our online activities safe is really what attracted me to the industry. It's grown so much over the last few years in particular, and kind of the ethos has always stuck with me that it's just a way to kind of work in a more decentralized fashion, kind
Mhm.
of bringing power back to the individual versus government versus entities. And it's really powerful, the technology that's available, again, more on the privacy preserving side of things now that
Mhm.
so much of our time is spent online. There's so much of our data that is online. So being able to kind of transact in a safe and secure way, in a private way where we're not revealing personal information, to larger historic entities and things like that has always attracted me. And I think it's allowed, accessibility across the globe as we kind of saw with the early days of the internet. We're seeing
Mhm.
with the early days of cryptocurrency kind of expanding freedom, privacy, digital money across borders to all sorts of different people.
What is a current marketing strategy that you're deploying that you're finding to be successful?
Yeah, absolutely. So at Horizon Labs, we've always prioritized and focused on education. That's kind of always been a strategic pillar for us, and that's provided a lot of success. So as I mentioned, cryptocurrency, blockchain, Web3 is still a very new industry. There's a very small subset of the global presence that's currently using it. So for a lot of people that stumble upon either Horizon or ZK Verify, the two main projects that we're working on at Horizon Labs, sometimes it could be someone's first, experience in the Web3 and cryptocurrency space. So for us, before we even dive in on exactly what our projects are, what we're building, what we're working on, we always take a step back and kind of provide a higher level view on, what is blockchain technology, what is cryptocurrency,
Mhm.
how can this technology be used? So for us, we like to always focus on the education side of things. And one example of a strategy that we used specifically was we worked with a project that's called Meta School to put together an educational type of course for one of the projects we're working on, ZK Verify. And with that, this project focuses on modular zero knowledge technology. But before we even dive into what that means, we take a high level view at what is zero knowledge technology, what is modular blockchain versus monolithic blockchain, and kind of walking their developers and builders through an educational course to first learn exactly what is zero knowledge technology. Once they kind of have that established baseline, we then dive even deeper into what ZK Verify is, what we're looking to solve, what efficient proof verification can do in terms of speed and cost savings. So for us, we kind of focus on educating external users from our community and even our own community. We're very firm believers in very strong documentation, tutorials, providing support to our community as they're working through these tutorials and being there for them every step of the way. So for us, we always try to take a kind of an education lens to what we're doing at Horizon Labs and making sure that, we're educating our community, new users about what we're doing, kind of in, very deep technical dive or very high level overview to kind of meet newcomers to the industry, to meet zero knowledge technology developers and kind of everyone in between.
Have you heard of VCon?
Econ?
VCon, Gary Vaynerchuk's conference with VFriends.
I have. I know he's working pretty heavily in like the NFT space. I've never
Yeah,
attended personally, but I've heard it. Yeah.
I was going to use that as an example as I went to their August event and I almost did not go because I was so confused out as to how to make my first purchase on the blockchain. And so their education, and they have a gentleman, Jeremy, whose only role was to talk to any and everyone to help them buy a ticket to the conference. And he spent about an hour with me. He was amazing, and he really held my hand throughout that process. And I think I'm pretty tech savvy, and I could not figure out how to purchase it. And so, to your point, just when it's high technology, something new and innovative that you're literally onboarding someone on to a whole new infrastructure, just that education and customer service is really important.
Yeah, absolutely. And kind of piggybacking off that, as I mentioned earlier, I attended a conference, Ethereum Denver, quite recently. And what I really like about their format of the conference is the tickets are free to attend. All somebody has to do
Hmm.
is on board with a Web3 wallet and kind of walk through their
Very cool.
very easy to understand process to secure a ticket. They do tutorials as well. So I really like that process of just providing education and also a free to entry conference for a lot of newcomers to the industry to kind of learn how all of this works.
If you were going to be, judging your marketing initiatives, and what would you say is something innovative you're doing in your approach?
Yeah, so I think one of the kind of emerging technologies that we've seen over the last year or so has, of course, been AI and AI agents. And as a marketer, there's kind of a lot of really powerful tools out there to take advantage of this innovative technology. So for us, I've been looking into ways to add AI into our work stream, and something that works really well in the crypto and blockchain space is posting content on X on Twitter. And with that, I really like to focus on small, digestible videos and sound clips versus longer 45-minute, 1 hour clips, that sort of a thing. And what I've seen is oftentimes when you have a long form piece of content on video, it does usually take quite a long time to splice up that video into
For
these
sure.
small, digestible sound bites. So I've really enjoyed looking into various AI tools that can kind of take that longer form video, summarize it for me, break it up into these digestible sound bites, and then summarize what is in each of those
Mhm.
sound bites. So we can very quickly kind of take that content, put it out on X and Twitter, and then kind of point people towards that longer form video that might be hosted, on YouTube, for example. So for me, I've enjoyed kind of implementing AI in that fashion, and I know we'll kind of dive into AI a little bit later. And another kind of way that we've try to take an innovative approach is looking into the data side of things. So we work with an external vendor. Their name is the Tie, and what they help us do is conducting a lot of deep dives and social media, research into some of our competitors and our identified competitor set, and kind of automating a lot of that research for us, so we can kind of always keep an eye out on what our competitors are up to, how their social media is performing, some strategies that they're implementing, as well as with our own social media analytics, looking at, what time of day or which day some of our posts perform well. And then myself as a marketer, I can kind of take that information and then outline, my content strategy around that and make sure that I'm putting out content, in certain times of the day that's going to be able to hit all of our audiences and some of those days and times that work best. So I think really keeping a close eye on data and working with vendors that help automate a lot of research and data analytics is another way that we're kind of staying ahead of on the curve on our strategy. It's really like data impacted decisions.
Do you recall the video AI software you used to take the long form clips and condense it down into stuff you can put out on social? Is we really like video tap in Opus clips, Opus clips. I'm probably saying that incorrect.
So yeah, I have a tough way of saying it, but the one that I use is also I say Opus clip. So
Opus. You're
hopefully
probably right. You're more technical than I am.
hopefully that's the right way to say it. But yeah, that's the tool that I like to use as well. They're really great at taking that long form video content and just breaking it up into the
Mhm.
digestible sound bites.
And the AI B-roll you can put into the video is really cool too.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's AI is kind of that technology that almost every day amazes me. There's always new use
Mhm.
cases, new platforms coming up. Even in the cryptocurrency industry, it's been really cool to see various projects that are working on different AI solutions and AI agents and that sort of a thing.
Last weekend I had a neurovirus, so I was offline for 3 days. And what was just last weekend there was the new cheaper AI Chinese software that got launched.
DeepSeek
No, it
is
wasn't DeepSeek. It was like the next iteration of that. And so I came into work on Monday and people started talking about this. They're like, what are you talking about? I've only been offline for 3 days. They're like, oh, it came out on Saturday. I was like, man, I wasn't online for just a few days and I'm completely out of the loop of a new revolutionary AI tool that's out there.
it moves so fast. It moves so fast to the AI industry, and also like with crypto and blockchain, like I mentioned, X is kind of our dominant platform. There's so
Hmm.
much that's going on there, and 24/7, 365,
Right.
there's always something going on.
So Bryan, my last question today, and we touched on AI, so you beat me to the punch, but anything else you want to share of more around how AI has impacted your role as a marketer?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as I kind of briefly mentioned earlier, I think as a marketer, it's really made me more efficient. And for me, there's so many different tools, and I know, I mentioned Opus Clip, but of course, other tools such as ChatGPT, for example, kind of allow you to take a different lens to a lot of your content and kind of reimagine content in ways that you weren't thinking. And at Horizon Labs, like I mentioned, we focus on two products. One is with Horizon, and the other project is ZK Verify. And ZK Verify is a little bit more developer focused and leaning. Horizon is more of a retail focused audience. So when it comes to marketing and kind of the content that I'm putting together, oftentimes I wear multiple different hats. Sometimes I'm wearing my developer hat and I'm putting something more technical together or working on tutorials, that sort of a thing. Or with Horizon, maybe I'm looking at, the markets and more of a retail focused hat. So with tools like ChatGPT, I can kind of take content and ask it to spin it a certain way that might fit an audience better. And that helps me be a little bit more efficient in kickstarting my content writing and planning and kind of taking things in a different direction that maybe I wasn't thinking of. So with ChatGPT, it allows me to kind of kickstart some of my content ideas and writing and just kind of eliminate that writer's block sort of a thing and just kind of churn along. And another really cool tool that I've used in the space is Grammarly. And Grammarly has an AI tool. It's a plugin that you add to Google Chrome, for example. And what it does is whether you're typing on a Google Doc, whether you're typing out a tweet on X, whether you're typing on, for me, I'm building out an email marketing campaign. It's kind of like an always watching spell check. So what's great
Mhm.
about that is, it might suggest to me, hey, maybe write this a different way. Or let's say if I want to take this message and make the tone a little bit more serious, it's a more technical topic. That's something that Grammarly can do. And as a marketer, one of the things that I always think about is all of our content is very public. We're posting a tweet to X, we're sending out an email newsletter, we're posting something on LinkedIn, and that's immediately out there in the public eye. So I try to limit my mistakes. I'm human, of course, there's mistakes that are going to happen, but with an AI tool like Grammarly, that's kind of always keeping an eye out for me, sometimes it can catch those typos or, express to me to say something in a different way. So for me as a marketer to stay efficient, it's been nice to kind of have this AI tool that's always keeping an eye out for me and helping reduce typos, mistakes that all humans are going to make, and just make sure that our very public content is, accurate, says the right thing, and it just helps me kind of keep an extra eye on things.
So, Bryan, can you wrap up and share best ways to learn more about your organization, best ways to follow up with you?
Absolutely. So Horizon Labs, like I mentioned, we work in the blockchain technology space. Our website is horizonlabs.io. The two main projects that we're working on is Horizon, which can be reached at horizon.io, as well as ZK Verify, which can be reached at zkverify.io. Navigating to all of those websites will lead you to all of the social media platforms that we're active on, such as X and LinkedIn. We also have communities on Discord and Telegram for each project. And then myself, Bryan, Bryan Nowlan on Twitter. So more than happy to kind of engage with the community on there.
And it's Bryan with a Y.
Yep. BryanNowlan on X.
Perfect, Bryan. Thank you so much for your time today.
No problem. Thank you so much for having me.